Hello everybody, welcome in my class once again. Well, this is Matuja. I'm going to teach you about voice, which is very important part in English grammar, basically from class 6 to class 12. Well, voice, this item is very clear to you already, I know, but this item will be clear to you all. This is my promise to you. I will be very happy to make you learn and make you understand very easy and clear. Today I'm going to tell you on the voice and its changing rules, and you must know the definition and the function of voice in order to change sentences from active voice to passive voice. Well, if you try to learn from grammar book, you will get 100 rules on voice changing. Well, that is not wrong, but I myself became confused when I tried to learn voice from a book or many other sources in my childhood. After that, I myself made a theory on voice changing, which made the lesson very easy and clear and easier for me. So now I'm going to show you that theory on voice changing. Before that, you must know some basic points related to voice. Let's get the ball rolling. Well, my dear student, today's discussion, by the end of the lessons, the learners will learn introduction of voice, its classification, its primary changing rules, its structure, its examples, its exercises, and many things. So again, we'd like to talk about voice. For one, I'm showing something different presentation, like voice part 1, voice part 2, and voice part 3 finally. And all the three lecture, you will get a very clear idea about voice. Simply, what is voice? Voice is the form of a verb whether the subject of the sentence performs or receives the actions. Well, I think you have a little bit idea about what is voice. Let's go for example. Birds build nests, and nests are built by birds. We have got two ideas, and the classification of voice. Voice is two kinds, basically of two kinds voice, and one is active voice and another is passive voice. And I'm going to show you what is the difference between active and passive voice. Yes, active voice, when the subject acts itself, then the verb is of active voice. For example, he got a bird. He caught a bird. On the other hand, passive voice, when the priority of the object prevails upon the subject, it is passive voice. For example, a bird was caught by him. You see, he caught a bird, and on the other hand, when it turns into passive form, a bird was caught by him. Let's go for the idea. Again, doer and doee. It's very important points. These 2 points are very important. Simply, what is voice? Voice indicates the manner of writing of a sentence, which shows the subject is the doer or doee of the sentence or of the action expressed by the verb in it. Basically, voice shows us the condition of a subject. In that sentence, it tells us whether the subject is powerful or powerless. In case of action in that sentence, and based on this condition, we know that voice can be classified into two classes, active voice and passive voice. Well, doer for doer and doee. Let's take some examples. Well, I make a basket for my business. A basket is made by me for my business. Well, now see these 2 points, doer and doee. Doer, the person who acts and is powerful. On the other hand, doee, the person or thing which is influenced by doer and is powerless. Doer is powerful, doee is powerless. When the subject is doer in a sentence, it is called active voice. When the subject is doee in a sentence, it's called passive voice. Notice these sentences. I'm writing a report on pollution. Here, I is the doer of the verb writing, and it is subject, so this is active sentence. On the other hand, what is happening in passive? A report on pollution is being written by me. Here, a report on pollution is the doee of the verb writing, and it is unable or powerless to write anything. But this is subject in this sentence, so it is passive sentence. I think you have a clear idea about doer and doers. Let's go for common rules for changing voice. Well, dear students, you have much more idea about common rules for changing voice. I have shot out here some of the rules, like object will be subject, auxiliary verb will be added, verb will be past participle, and finally preposition by will be added. And the one rules is missing here, that is subject will be object. Subject will be object. So 4 rules here I'm reading. I'm writing 4 rules here, and another one is subject will be object. Again, I'm telling you something, that object will be subject, auxiliary verb will be added, verb will be past participle form, preposition by will be added, and the missing rules is the subject will be object. I think, or I hope you understand. Let's go for the basic structures of active and passive voice. Active voice, at the very beginning, subject, auxiliary verb, main verb, and object. On the other hand, when we make it passive, then it will be subject. How subject will come? From the object of active voice, it will turn into passive, it will turn into subject, then auxiliary verb according to tense and person, then verb past participle form, and then preposition by will be added, and then the subject will be object. So I'm not repeating, as it is very clear to you, the structure, and if you understand it very clearly, then it is very easy to make change from active voice to passive voice. Let's go for the common rules for changing voice. Let's take an example. We buy the place. Passive, we buy the place. In passive, it is the place are bought by us. Well, the 3 rules, let's see. The object in the active voice becomes the subject in the passive voice. Here, the place has become subject in the passive voice. And number two, the preposition. Number 2 is alternative of 3 and 2. And here, verb is always in the past participle form in the passive voice, and auxiliary verb is used before the verb according to the tense of the verb. So, bought is the past participle form of buy, and on the other hand, preposition by is used before the object in the passive voice. I mean, by has been used before us. So we have clear idea about these three common rules. Changing voice from active to passive in the interrogative sentence is almost the same, only for the auxiliary verb will be followed by the subject. Well, auxiliary verb will be at first. So, do I play football? In passive, is football played by me? And another very different idea, because we need to change the auxiliary verb from active voice to passive voice. Do, does, V1. It's in a shortcut form for changing into passive voice. In active, do, does, V1. In passive, it is am, is, are. When it is did or V2, it will be was, were. Am, is, there, was, were, be. It will be added with being. So let's see, if it is am, it will be am being. If it is, then it will be is being. And another, have, has, had, it will be plus been. So when it is have, it will be have been. When it is has, it will be has been. When it is had, it will be had been. I think you have a clear idea about auxiliary verb. Now, models. Models can, could, may, might, shall, should, used to, dare, need, and going to. These are all about models. And here, for models, you need to use be. So if it is can, then it will be can be. If it is may, then it will be may be. Let's see some examples. Dear students, first example, they lock the gate every night. The sentence is present indefinite tense, as it is written here, lock only. So in passive voice, it will be the gate is locked every night by them. Subject becomes subject, object becomes subject, and lock, as it is present indefinite tense, so it turns into is locked. Go for the next example. Fortune favors the brave. So here favors present indefinite tense, so it will be the same as it is before. The brave are favored by fortune. Favors here are brave. Are because the brave is plural form. Next example. The fishermen were catching fishes. So fishes were being caught by the fisherman. Here were is continuous form. So for continuous form, being is added. I took the hammer yesterday. The hammer was taken yesterday by me. It is past indefinite tense, so was or were will be added here. As it is hammer, so it will be was. Another example, they can arrange a meeting. Here can, which type of auxiliary verbs, dear student? Certainly that can is modal auxiliary, and for modal auxiliary we have to use be. So the answer will be a meeting can be arranged by them. Now, dear students, I have given some homeworks for you to practice. So you will practice these 10 sentences in your home for exercise, and you answer it and just check it for my next class. I will give the solution, which will be found in the lecture 3 Voice Part 2 session. Don't worry about this. Keep in touch with me. Thanks to all. See you. Bye bye.